Welcome to The Simple Fix, a myth-free movement podcast from Keza Wellness. I'm Kerryn, your host, a coach who blends strength, Pilates, and pain science so that you can move well, feel great, and live boldly without the hype. Welcome to another episode of The Simple Fix. I'm your host, Kerryn, and I'm joined in studio today with the wonderful Annabel.
Hi.
Annabel and I know each other through some teaching circles within the London fitness space. And Annabel is a nutritionist alongside a few other things. So I was really excited to have her in studio today to talk all things sort of gut health. Gut health is something that is on everyone's radar at the moment. It's really, really trendy, yes, but also important. Another one of those industries where like the information has changed quite rapidly in the past sort of like 10 or so years or whatever. So I'm very excited to know a little bit more. So Annabel, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me a little bit more about you. How did you get into nutrition?
Yeah, when did I qualify? Good few years ago now. But I guess for me, I'd always been interested in health and wellness, health and fitness. I think I classically thought I was being really healthy. Now I know more. There was probably quite a few things I didn't, which we can go into. But I actually had gut issues of my own. I think quite a lot of people get this. I got quite a lot of bloating. I couldn't really understand why. I didn't know what caused it. I had no idea. The more I learned about it, I was on a course of antibiotics for years for my skin. Literally years, which if anyone knows, just literally a couple of weeks of antibiotics is almost like an atom bomb for your gut microbes. Should we maybe touch on what the gut microbiome is very quickly?
Yeah, I think go into that a little bit, yeah.
So yeah, you've essentially your gut's everything from mouth all the way down to bum, essentially. And then where all the magic happens is actually in your large intestine. That's the home of your gut microbiome, and that's where like the trillions of microbes live. And that's where, when everything's kind of been digested and absorbed, anything that can't be absorbed is kind of taken down to the guts. This is where fibre comes in. Okay. And then this is what your microbes kind of like feast on, essentially. For a healthy gut, you want a nice, healthy, mixed, diverse gut microbiome, essentially. Okay.
So you almost want things that can't be digested to get stuck there, but you need them to be the right things.
Well, not quite. It's essentially fibre is one of the main things that goes through to it, essentially. And you want to get lots of fibre in, which luckily loads of people are talking about now, because that is what your gut microbes literally eat on. The more fibre that you have, the healthier your gut microbiome is, the more diverse it is.
Okay.
So we want to get more fibre.
I always thought that the gut microbiome was like the entire gut itself, but it's like a little village within the large intestine.
Yeah, it's literally like a home for your microbes within. So you do have microbes everywhere on and around us, like we're all microbes. There's lots of microbes.
Like little cells, basically.
Yeah, you've got like a skin microbiome, you have an oral microbiome, but like your gut microbiome is obviously what's related to your gut health. And there's literally trillions of microbes in there. So it's within your large intestine mostly, essentially.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so you want a nice, healthy, thriving, diverse gut microbiome. But when you have a course of antibiotics, which is no shame on antibiotics, there is a good place for them. We want to have them when we need them. You shouldn't be afraid to have them if you do need them.
Yeah.
But they
wipe it out.
Yeah, a lot of your microbes, which can then lead to a lot of other symptoms. So it's kind of one of, not the only causes of IBS for some people.
Okay.
So I didn't know this at the time. I hadn't studied nutrition, so I took them for years, and I didn't take any probiotics alongside it. So that is what they recommend to kind of help almost like repopulate. There's certain certain probiotics that you can take when you're on antibiotics.
Okay.
I didn't know any better at the time. So yeah, that led to a lot of like common symptoms with IBS that I had, which was bloating and stuff like that. But I was like, I eat really healthily. I don't understand what's causing this. It is a little bit confusing. There's a diet called the FODMAP diet.
Yes.
Which is a bit of an elimination diet, which everyone should do with a dietitian, not by yourselves.
Yes.
But yeah, you kind of essentially cut out foods that are FODMAP foods, high in FODMAPs, a lot of which are fruit and vegetables, which I think that's always adds
also
to the
very
confusion.
Confusing, yeah.
Doesn't mean they're not healthy at all by any means. It just, some people can be a little bit sensitive to them.
Okay.
And then you essentially reintroduce them back in to see what causes the symptoms.
Okay.
And then, go from there.
Okay, so you are struggling with these symptoms. You're struggling with bloating, a bit of fatigue, you're uncomfortable. Also, I imagine very frustrating when you are actually doing the right things. I think that this is always, like, it's all good and well when you're feeling terrible and, you've been on a bender of like all the worst things in the world. But when you're actually putting in the effort to do things well and you're still not feeling well, then it's such a drag.
Yeah.
And then did you go and see a nutritionist or see a dietitian, or what was your process?
I saw a dietitian.
Okay, and can we take a moment?
Yeah.
What is the difference between a nutritionist and a dietitian?
Yeah, no, it's a good question because you do go and see them for slightly different things. Dietitian, I would almost say, would be more in a hospital setting.
Okay.
So anything that you would need clinical treatment for, a dietitian is going to help you with, whereas a nutritionist will be more lifestyle focused.
Okay, good to know.
So they're your kind of main distinctions. And if you want to try and get someone who's accredited, so dietitians, it's the BDA, and nutritionists, it's AFN.
Okay, great. Super important for us to know this because there's so much information out there and there's so many people that we want to trust because we like what they're saying. But, always check your credits, check your accreditation, of course. Okay, so you went to go see a dietitian.
Yep, so a dietitian essentially did the FODMAP diet.
Okay, and what were your triggers?
Onion and garlic.
Oh, the best things ever.
Yeah, I know. So it's fine day to day, the cooking and stuff like that, but eating meals out is obviously a little bit trickier, but places are pretty good if you flag it with them. So yeah, but they're actually really, really common triggers for a lot of people, which is always quite surprising, I think.
And I feel like, onion and garlic are so commonly used in foods. I mean, obviously they taste amazing. They make everything taste better.
Yeah.
Oh no. Were you like consciously cooking with a lot of onion and garlic? Okay.
Yeah, so I was using it all the time, and then that's why I couldn't understand. I was like, I don't understand. I've had like a healthy dinner. What's going on? Why am I getting so bloated? So yeah, that's almost like the biggest change in people's heads sometimes is it doesn't.
Yeah, I think because we have such a visceral reaction, right? So the problem is big. So you think it must be like quite a big part of your plate. So you think it must be like the toast or the bread or like, the big component, but it could be a spice, it could be an additive, it could be an oil that you're using, it honestly, there's so much that your body could be reacting to.
Yeah, definitely. But I think it's really important to work with someone and not just start to randomly cut loads of stuff out of your diet. So I think it's often quite tempting to do that. People just like cut out all gluten or cut out all lactose, but then you end up cutting out like key nutrients without even realizing you're doing it.
Yeah.
So it's really important to work with someone to make sure that you're still getting everything you need.
Okay, fab. So you did the FODMAP diet and then you were like, now how do I survive my life without onion and garlic?
Yeah. So I mean, gosh, I think it was all along the same time I then started to study nutrition and stuff like that anyway and got qualified. So I then was learning about it whilst also going through it. Also, it was quite helpful in itself, but it's fine for me day to day. I think once you know things that might trigger you, it's absolutely fine, and you can build them up slowly over time as well and able to tolerate them because it's an intolerance, it's not an allergy.
Okay, and do you want to explain to us the difference between an intolerance and an allergy?
Yeah, so intolerance is more symptom based. Allergy is what you would think of like your classic NAS allergy. It's like an actual immune response within the body, often can be life-threatening, whereas an intolerance is not, essentially. So it's more like you might get bloated and stuff like that, but you'll be uncomfortable. It's not great. You won't enjoy it. You might have other gut symptoms, but it's not life-threatening.
It's not life or death.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So in this process of you investigating your symptoms, starting to work with a dietitian, going through the FODMAP thing, discovering it's onion and garlic, in that whole thing, and then starting to study, what was sort of like the biggest shock, like the thing you didn't expect?
I think it's probably, like what I was just saying, the fact that it was like healthy foods that was doing it. Well, part of, definitely, but my main triggers were like onion and garlic. I also think this was, maybe 6 or so years ago. And when like protein bars are the hype, low calorie foods were the hype.
Yes,
and I think because of the clever marketing, and I think it's still happening now because marketers are so clever, you see something that says it's high in protein or it's low calories and you automatically think it's healthy.
Yes, correct.
But actually a lot of the time, if they're stripping out key nutrients when it's like low fat, for example, they've got to replace the flavour and the taste with something else. And that's when the additives come in. So like protein bars, often you'll read the back of the packet, you don't understand what half the ingredients are.
I mean, it's like alien language, basically.
Yeah, nothing you would find in your kitchen. And they actually, on a high level, can cause a lot of disruption in your gut as well.
Okay.
They can lead to symptoms and things like that. So that was quite interesting learning, just because it's marketed as healthy or something you might want. It doesn't necessarily mean. I always say, like, actual whole foods that are healthy for you don't have a marketing label, don't need marketing.
They don't need one.
You won't see broccoli making out big claims and stuff like that.
Broccoli, eat me.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've kind of touched on two things there. So you found out what your intolerance was, which was onion and garlic, but then you also started to learn about how disruptive sort of additives and processed foods could be as well.
Yes.
And is this just because they're foreign to the body?
It's not a, how do I phrase this? It's just not a normal whole foods. Like, your body wants to run off whole foods and stuff like that. And like, a lot of these additives and stuff can like stifle your gut microbiome, essentially.
Okay.
They can lead to other symptoms. There's more and more research coming out to say they're not the healthiest thing to have. I think what's important is not to scaremonger people. I think there's a lot out there now, and it's actually really hard to not have some of them in your diet.
Yeah, of course.
You just want to make sure that your whole diet isn't made up of them, which is actually really easy to do, especially if you're like picking up lunch on the go, you've picked up breakfast on the go. It's quite easy to get to that point.
And it's quite easy to do that, like, quite willingly and feel good about it. You know what I mean? Like, you want to pick up the sort of protein yogurt because it's 0 fat and 18 grams of protein or whatever. And it, that's just got none of the actual...
So it will have some of the stuff in, but like, especially if it's flavoured and stuff, to get it to taste nice.
Yeah.
But there's exceptions that, like, Greek yogurt is amazing, but usually won't have like the big labels on it being like it's high in protein, but half the time they're higher in protein than the protein yogurts.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just to understand, but if you just read the labels, I think it's just understanding what they're actually saying.
And I suppose looking past the marketing, right? I think a lot of the wellness industry in general, the bad things get away with it because we want the bad things to work, right? Because the bad things are usually either the things that are trending or the things that are tasty, or like, you want to be opting for the meal that like tastes good, looks good, and in your mind ticks off your diet requirements. You don't really want to investigate any further. So if you've got that information on the wrapper, why would you flip it open and put it flip it over rather and put it next to a whole food to get the truth? Like, we as human beings, we don't want that. We don't want any resistance. So I suppose that, as you said, that's where the power of marketing comes in.
Yeah, it does, definitely. But I think the more you know, the easier it is.
It becomes,
and there's so many healthy options out there. Like I said, just don't be so hard. I don't want to scaremonger it too much and make anyone like fear food. Like, that's not the point at all. Like, and you can enjoy it as part of a balanced diet. You just want like 80% ideally of your diet to be made up of like more whole foods, so just like natural foods without everything added into them, and you can still make them just as tasty and just as delicious. I know it's a little bit more time consuming, but there's a lot of quick hacks that you can do to get all these healthy nutrients into your diet, and make it
Amazing. Okay, great. So you then started studying your nutrition, and what do you do now?
So I work for a gut health company now, which is amazing. So get to do a lot of the nutrition content for them, some of the marketing as well. Get to do talks about wellness and gut health. So
nice.
Really,
and just really, I suppose, like, help educate people, help them understand. I think it's definitely, I'm within the wellness industry, but I'm not on the nutrition side of things. And we do when you do sort of any course these days, you do basic nutrition. And the nutrition that was in my course that was only 6 years ago is already back then so outdated. We're still talking like the food plate that's like 70% carbohydrates and grains, and it's just like, it hadn't quite caught up to the whole foods thing. But a lot of these terms I think we hear and we think we understand, and we don't. Like, we don't understand necessarily things on a practical level, and therefore we don't understand how to hack them well.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's what we can learn through conversations like these. Okay, so now you're aware about onions and garlic. are you starting to feel better already, or how long did that sort of process take? Do you start to feel better during the FODMAP diet? Like, what can you expect?
So when I reduced them out and then realised the triggers and started cutting them out my diary, I had less symptoms because I wasn't eating the trigger foods, because I was bloating daily, like felt like I looked 6 months pregnant, was in a lot of pain on a daily basis because I was having them every day unknowingly. As soon as I'd realised what they were and stopped eating them daily, like now I'm pretty much most of the time like symptom free, fine.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And did you experience any other health benefits to sort of like sorting out your gut biome?
Yeah, I think the more healthy foods that you add and more balance of foods and more variety, generally more energized and stuff you feel. So as much as you can on a plate. No meal is going to be perfect, but you kind of want your like slow release carbohydrates, so brown rice, sweet potato, quinoa, things like that. Mix of vegetables or fruits. Oh, oats are amazing as well, so if you're having breakfast. So lots of different colours of those as well, because every different plant has different fibres in them, other different things which will then give you benefits as well for your gut, feed more of your gut microbiome, then your lean proteins and a source of healthy fats. Okay. And if you have each of those nutrients in there, you're going to be more balanced, your energy levels are going to be more stable. So if you have just, as yummy as it is, white toast and jam, you're not going to have like balanced blood sugars. You're going to get like a spike and then you might get a little crash and you can feel a little bit tired. Whereas if you get all of your key nutrients in, as long with a lot of fibre as well, if you can, then you're going to feel much more balanced and steady and energized throughout the day, and you're not kind of reaching for that 3 p.m. coffee and biscuit.
Okay, so that sounds good. I like a little bit of every colour thing. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Colourful food. I do feel, not being from here, not that, I mean, where I come from, the colour's just different. Here it's beige foods, and in South Africa it's red meats, basically, just in every meal. But I do feel like beige food has a lot, there's a lot of beige food on the plates of most households here. It's easy, it's usually ultra processed, but it's tasty. I love a lot of beige food as well. So bringing in colour is definitely a goal. Yes. And you mentioned that each colour has slightly different nutrients, so that's... Yeah, so there's kind of a couple of numbers that are like probably what a lot of us are missing out on. It's quite easy because it's the same number. So we should all be aiming for 30 grams of fibre a day. Okay. I think it's over 90% of us in the UK aren't getting enough fibre at the moment, which is crazy. I mean, 30 grams, I'm not going to lie, it sounds like a lot. So if you aren't having high fibre foods, then it can be. I think it's just knowing which foods are higher in fibre. Okay. So things like, which a lot of us don't have at the moment, but like nuts and seeds are a great source. Chia seeds, flax seeds, adding those to your breakfasts are an amazing way to get a good hit of fibre. Lots of like fruits and veggies, but also beans and pulses. Like plant-based proteins are an amazing source of fibre, also great source of protein. So they're a really good one to add into meals. Is that like baked beans as well? Baked beans counts, obviously, depending on the baked bean you're getting. Okay. It depends what, there might be some sugary sauces or whatever involved in there, but they will still have fibre in. Okay, good to know. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, adding in things like that. What else? And the specific, just getting to know which foods are higher in fibre. Like raspberries are a great source of fibre, actually, in terms of like berries. Avocado's a good source. Okay. Whole grains in general, like what I think a lot of people can benefit from is switching from less all of the white carbs and more whole grain carbs. They're typically higher in fibre. What I do say is a lot of people don't love them. So if you're having rice, do like 50-50. Okay. Like half and half. Yeah, just to keep that kind of taste the same. Yeah, and it's the same with beans and pulses. I think a lot of people shy away from them, but can you start to half and half? It's to say if you're doing like a spaghetti bolognese, can you do half mince, half lentils? Okay. Things like that, and it's just adding them in, and then you're still having the same meals, the same dishes you enjoy, but you're just adding in more of the fibre sources. So I'd always say with all of this, like, what can you add? Try to focus less on what you're taking away. Think about what you can add to your meals. Is the best way to approach it. I really like that. Yeah. I read a case study not so long ago, and it was mostly based on a habit forming, right? And like, how do we really change someone's circumstances, especially when their life is quite set up in a certain way? And it was these two New York-based doctors, and they helped a friend of theirs. He was a tradesman, a blue-collar worker, and he basically would have, just like frozen meals and stuff every day. And they started by just saying, okay, still get home and eat your 2 frozen pizzas, but add in a bag of steamed veggies. And the results were just insane. And it was kind of like focusing, as you've just said, on adding the good things. Yeah. And eventually, like automatically, he went from being able to eat 2 pizzas at night to just only really needing 1, and then really like wanting, his body almost like the habit started like feeding itself, so to speak. Yeah. And it was actually about adding and not subtracting. So that's very cool to hear you say that. I like that as well. I think often when we want to change, it's all about like, what are we doing wrong? 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 And that's exhausting because that's most of our lives. So I like that, thinking about what can we add? Yeah,
because I think, like loads of people might have like a yogurt bowl for breakfast or plain oats or whatever. And then if you just add in some nuts and seeds, add in some chia seeds, add in a little bit of fruit. Yeah, exactly. Some berries, great source of antioxidants. And all of a sudden it's 1 more of a balanced meal, 2, you're doing much more for your like health, and you actually probably feel fuller and more sustained for longer. So it's all just positive things.
It's all positive. Yeah. And you haven't even thought about taking anything away, which is great.
Exactly.
So 30 grams of fiber.
Yes. And then the other kind of 30, which you don't want to get too caught up on, but is plant variety. So there's there was like a big study basically that was done on, I think it was over 10,000 different guts or stool samples that was done. And what they found is essentially people who ate 30 or more plants had a much more diverse gut microbiome than people who ate 10 or less.
In a day?
In a week.
In a week, okay.
In a week, not a day, guys.
30 plants in a day. Okay.
In a week. But what's quite cool about that, and this is where like there's hacks that you can do, is like different colours count. Okay. So getting mixed bags of literally everything is the best thing you can do.
Okay, so like mixed leaf salad.
Yep,
mixed peppers, mixed berries.
Exactly.
Okay.
Mixed nuts and seeds.
Amazing. Okay, so you're climbing.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Herbs and spices count as well.
Okay,
so
good.
Adding some cinnamon to your breakfast, whatever chili spices, whatever you're adding to your dinners, they all count as well. So like I said, I wouldn't worry too much about getting 30 because people can almost get a bit too caught up on it and a bit stressed, but just again, adding more plants. Yeah. Adding more variety.
Do you know what I love about this? Like, as someone who has been in diet culture for a long time, and I realized at quite a young age, and even the household that I come from, like, we're not cookers, okay, at all. I'm trying to change this. But therefore I deem a lot of ingredients when I look at a recipe unnecessary, because I'm like, my palate is not experienced enough. It's not bougie enough to care whether I put those herbs and spices in this meal or not. So I will look at like whatever, like a steak and broccoli meal, and it'll literally just be like fry that steak and boil that broccoli. Also, I'm of the mindset of like the simpler the better, strip it all back, wah. And actually, no, like adding in those herbs and spices, adding in the chopped up whatever that goes with it. It's nice to look at it from a different lens, because here I am thinking that I'm doing myself such a favor by eating so simply, because it means no additionals, no bad.
Yeah.
But actually, by adding more ingredients to the plate, obviously more of the right ingredients, I'm actually helping my biome. I literally used to put nothing on a steak, like just dead.
I mean, if that's how you like it.
I mean, it's not really how I like it. It's just like, I'm like, well, I guess I let myself off the hook for not doing the rest of the recipe, thinking that I was doing myself a favor, when actually, like, I obviously wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, there's always more you can add. Like, maybe have not just broccoli, but some asparagus and some peppers and some whatever you.
And all of a sudden, I've gone from one plant type to like 6 or 7, without even having to make another meal. Because I think that's what always feels so overwhelming. But to be honest with you, now that I understand it a little bit better, like that encourages me to make like a super green chicken salad supreme thing and appreciate all of the ingredients, because before I'm just like, this is dramatic now. Do you know what I mean? Why would we put 6 different leaves in when we can put 1 leaf in? But now I know that there's a purpose behind it. That's definitely going to make me approach it a bit differently.
You're feeding your gut bugs.
Amazing. Okay, so part of having the Simple Fix and having these chats is to try and simplify some of the things that we're being fed, okay, like quite literally, but try and simplify some of the information that we're getting. So a few sort of myth-busting hot takes that I'd love your opinion on. So number 1, greens powders.
Yeah. They are everywhere.
They are everywhere, and they're basically telling me if I just have this powder in the morning, I'm off the hook for the rest of the day.
Yeah, so what I would try and do with these is think about this a little bit logically. So they're going to say to you, they have got 30 to 50 different,
Greens in them
essentially. Yeah. You're getting a scoop about this big. How much of each of those things are you getting?
I mean, like a minuscule amount.
So that straight away is quite a low dose of all of it. Also, with a lot of them, you're not getting one of the key nutrients in them, which is fibre.
Okay.
So obviously when you're eating the whole plant food, you're getting the fibre that most of us need more of. It's often in the skins of fruit and veggies and things like that. So I mean, if you're processing it down to a powder, you're losing a lot of the fibre. They also can actually give you extra vitamins that you might not actually need.
Okay.
So I think a lot of supplements actually do this, and they give you like higher doses, and there are some vitamins and minerals that you store in your body, so you don't want to overdose on them. And also if you're adding in a greens powder and a daily supplement and a this and a that, you're probably adding them all up without even realising that you're doing it, and you just don't need to. And long term, in extreme cases, it can actually be harmful for you.
Okay.
The other thing to say is they're quite expensive.
Yeah,
a lot of them I don't think taste that nice.
And if they do taste nice, why do they taste nice?
Yes, what else is added in to them exactly to get it to taste that? So I would say they're kind of an expensive hype. You definitely don't need them.
Okay. I'm not missing out.
No, like I said, just add a few actual more fruit and veggies into you're eating.
Yeah.
A handful of nuts, things like that. You're going to be doing well.
You're going to be doing well.
Yeah.
Okay, fab. Then let's talk about like gut testing. So I'm pretty sure I have sent my hair away to find out what I'm allergic to. I'm pretty sure I've sent Stephen's hair away to find out what he's allergic to or intolerant to or whatever. And we do, again, another thing that's popping up, take this test and, what do we think about that?
Yeah, so the hair thing... Not a thing.
You want to tell me that my hair can't tell you what's going on?
Yeah, sadly, not a thing. A lot of these on-home tests or things that you send stuff away from, sadly, aren't actually going to tell you that much. You probably get this like huge long list of stuff.
Yeah, mine was like 5 pages long, and it had like a green, orange, red system, and
it's often just what you've eaten recently. I won't go into the science of it too much because we can literally be here all day. But yeah, like I would steer clear of those. If you have an actual allergy, you'll go to your doctor. They will do the proper test for it. But intolerances, it's a whole different thing. And actually, most of the time, it's kind of like stopping having it, seeing if you have a reaction, introducing
it's the trial and error. It's really the only way to do it.
With intolerances, like I said, allergies, obviously.
Allergies is different.
Very different. Yeah. And then the other side of it as well, especially when you come to gut health, is like gut microbiome testing, which again is quite expensive to do.
Yeah. I actually had a girlfriend the other day say that she wanted to get it done, and she told me the price she was looking at, and I was like,
hundreds.
Don't do that. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, so it's a super interesting area of science, and it's amazing that they can start to see what's going on in there, because it's all like really quite new still, and it's ever evolving and developing. But at the moment, there may be like, I'm not sure how many microbes they can name, but in the hundreds, you have trillions of microbes in your gut. So the snapshot one that they're kind of giving you is not always the whole picture.
Of course.
And for most people, what they'll probably recommend off the back of it is introduce more beans and pulses, more nuts and seeds, more fruit and vegetables. The advice that you're getting off the back of it is probably advice that you would generally give someone that doesn't have any other issues and whatever anyway.
Yeah. And I think if we're honest with ourselves, we have so much automatic like solutions. What I mean is, like, I, for one, am 100% not eating 30 different greens a week. Like just start there. So there's so many steps I can take already before I go and look for this like hyper complicated thing that might be wrong with me. So
Yes.
I think taking what's in front of you and available to you rather than, I mean, we know this about the industry, right? It makes us feel like unless we can afford that, you know, $5,000 blood panel, we're never going to feel better. And actually, you know, I'm sure there's rare cases where you are doing all the things and not feeling any better. But I mean, can we honestly sit here and say, you know, number one, I'm getting 30 grams of fiber. Number two, I'm eating 30 different types of plants throughout the week. I mean, I'm 2 for 2, no. Like,
Yeah.
So, okay, great. One more of these. Actually, not really a trend, but why do you think that these trends take off? Do you think it's just down to clever marketing?
I think a lot of social media has to answer for all this, really.
I hope you found this podcast on social media, but I hope you're vetting your social media.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are social media trends.
Yeah.
And, you know, someone looks the right way, talks about it passionately enough.
I know.
Anyone can be convinced. Like, I don't blame anyone. I can completely see why they become this thing.
And when we need a solution, we want to see a solution.
Well, this is a sad thing as well. Sometimes people are desperate. They just want to find something and then they come across it and you can see why you'd kind of fall for it. And I actually think most of the health advice, it's not the most sexy. It's not the most exciting. Me being like, eat your fruit and veggies, drink enough water.
It's not.
Have some fiber.
It's boring.
Like you can see when that's not usually, although fiber's having its moment at the moment, which is great, which we're seeing more of. Probably actually something to touch on fiber because this was a trend, which was amazing to see, but fiber maxing.
Okay.
So just do you not see this one?
No.
Okay, so this has been around everywhere and it's essentially people finally kind of understanding how important fibre is and getting plenty of fibre on your plate, which is amazing. But what can put people off is actually if you eat loads of fibre straight away, you are then going to get gut symptoms.
Okay.
So like I said, fibre is feeding your gut bugs.
Yeah.
When it does, it's fermenting, it's producing gases, it can lead to symptoms. They're having a party in there.
Yeah, of course.
Which is great. But if you have too much in one go and you're not used to it, it's almost like too much for not your gut to handle, but you will get symptoms.
Yeah.
So you want to try and approach it slow and steadily. So don't go from 0 to 30.
I mean, we see the same with your physical body, right? Like you're going to come and do your first class in 3 months and then tell me that your legs hurt, like they're going to hurt. But we know that that's positive. And if you just did it a bit slow and steady. Okay.
Yeah, so you want to output by about 5 grams a week.
Okay.
So if you're having 10 grams on average.
Very helpful.
A day, try and get 15. Then build it up slowly. Drink plenty of water as well.
Okay, fantastic.
So that helps keep everything moving along nicely in there without getting too graphic, essentially. So do it slowly and then also up your water as you're doing it as well.
Amazing. Okay, so 30 grams of fiber, 30 grams or 30 different plants.
In the end, long-term goals, wherever you are, just build it up nice and slowly. Essentially look for more of those, plant-based foods. Just keep on adding them to your plate over time. I
love this idea of adding and not taking away. I feel like we're working really hard to get ourselves out of taking things away and stripping things back and whatever.
And don't worry too much about being perfect, I think, as well.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a couple questions about your go-tos.
Okay.
So I think for me, what I would like to know is if I'm on the go.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm going to grab something. What is my best choice fiber-wise? Fiber is definitely not something I think about very often.
Yep. So nuts and seeds are a great one.
Nuts and seeds, okay.
Really good one to grab on the go. Like if you have quite a lot of berries, I'm trying to think what you like grab and go foods.
Are there some bars that I can trust? Some like...
Yes, there's definitely more high fibre bars at the moment. The gut stuff does 10 grams of fibre per bar.
Oh, wow, okay.
Which is great. But yeah, again, like don't have 3 of those. Your gut bugs are going to have a party. You're going to feel it. That also doesn't have any like additives or any nasties. Or, the ultra processed kind of vibes that we were trying to avoid. So they're a good one. They're kind of, I guess, more snacky foods.
Yeah.
Say if it was like more of a lunch option, if there's like salads that have got grains in, like quinoa, pulses, any beans, anything like that, avocado.
Okay.
more the plant-based ones are really, really helpful as well.
So even just like throwing on some avocado if I'm having like
Yes.
egg and toast or something, for example.
Perfect. On some whole grain toast as well.
Whole grain toast.
Yeah.
What about sourdough?
Yes, sourdough, so that's fermented.
Okay. Is that what makes sourdough elite? Because sourdough is the elite bread, right?
Yes, yeah. So it's fermented. So it's again another way of like feeding your gut microbiome.
Okay.
It's same category as kefir, kombucha, foods like that. So you've got like
Amazing.
live cultures in them.
Would you say sourdough is better than whole grain?
You can get whole grain sourdough.
Ah, okay.
Gold standard.
It's the gold standard. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, fab. So touching on another trend quickly that I see all the time, obviously we know in the Pilates girl world especially, we've got this matcha craze.
Yeah.
And then I'm getting promoted a lot on Instagram, like a bit of a matcha versus coffee thing. Is there a thing? Should there be a thing? Is one better than the other? What would you say?
They've both got benefits. Both have health benefits. There's more research around coffee, I would say. I think probably it's been a broader range. Obviously matcha was much more just like Japanese, and it's kind of spread across as a big trend now globally, and that's a whole different thing. But coffee beans, so coffee, you kind of want to get the whole beans ground down is probably the first thing to say. That's where you're getting benefit from coffees.
Okay,
not
whole greens ground down.
Yeah, not your instant powders.
Not my instant.
That's not
my little cappuccino in a sachet. No.
Yeah, that's so it's looking for that, which is going to give some health benefits. Also, got source of fibre, not huge amounts, but it has actually got fibre in as well.
Okay, good.
Matcha is a really interesting one because matcha in itself is great. It's antioxidant. It's got L-theanine in. And the nice thing about matcha is sometimes people can be quite sensitive to caffeine. It's very person to person. My partner can have 4 or 5 and he's absolutely fine. I would be jittering away.
Yeah.
It basically matcha isn't going to give that. It's going to give you like a much more steady release of caffeine, so you don't kind of get jittery, which some people can get from coffee. Sometimes it just doesn't agree with them. But there are lots of cool new matcha places popping up and stuff, which make them taste delicious, but they literally are like desserts, all the syrups and stuff. And then they're a great treat. They taste amazing. They might make it more drinkable for you because matcha in itself is actually quite a bitter taste, but it's a lot of added sugars and syrups, just to be mindful of when you're having them.
When you're having your matcha.
Yeah.
What kind of matcha you're having. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, great. I'm super happy to hear that coffee beans are still in because I just can't jump on the matcha thing. So.
Oh my god, no! If you don't like matcha, you don't need to do matcha. If you like coffee, have coffee.
Amazing.
That's great.
Amazing.
Obviously, just not.
I have upgraded to better coffee, not coffee from the can anymore. So that's good. Okay, so Annabel, here on the Simple Fix, I love to hear about what your simple fixes are for your life.
Amazing.
So if you could share with us 3 simple hacks that keep you obviously out of the place you were a couple years ago, but also, I suppose, sane in day to day, because as we know, things are busy, things are stressful.
Yeah, definitely. So first one, I'll do a fibre focused one because I do think we all need more of that. And
Fibre queen, I love it.
I think breakfast is the easiest place to get fibre in. One of the quickest hacks. So adding things like chia seeds and flax seeds into your breakfast is amazing, whether that's porridge, overnight oats, chia seed pudding, a yogurt bowl. Adding those in is going to give you an instant boost of fibre, which is amazing and kind of setting you off on a good foot. So that would be my first place, and I honestly say it's the easiest one to add in, and it's so you're literally adding like a spoonful of something.
Yeah, easy.
So easy. Don't even need to think about it. Just add it in, even your smoothies. So definitely that. I would say frozen foods, so mixed berries, frozen berries, things like that are amazing and so handy to have.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, I think people often shy away from frozen foods, but actually, depending on how fresh your fresh produce is, frozen food can actually be more beneficial, have more vitamins in. So as it starts, I think they did a study and the fresh food had been in the fridge for like maybe 4 or 5 days. And the frozen food was actually more nutritious, kept more of the like nutrition in it. So I wouldn't be afraid of frozen foods like mixed berries, stuff like that, because berries in themselves are amazing, but they're quite expensive and they go off quite quickly. So yeah, bags of frozen fruits and veggies are a great hack. Even freezing things up like ginger and stuff like that for when you're busy, short on time. maybe it's the end of the week, you don't have much food in. They're really, really helpful to have.
Amazing. Okay.
So I definitely do that, and more affordable. And then hydration.
Okay.
I think a lot of us don't drink enough water, sadly. So just making sure that you're staying hydrated is actually really good for like mood and concentration as well. And making, you just staying more alert, feeling better. I think people will be amazed if they just
drink your water. You're basically just a plant. Just drink your water. Get some sunshine.
Exactly, yeah.
Amazing. Okay, great. So then just a few quick fire questions. Okay. So what is a food-related fitness trend that you love?
I think the one that I mentioned earlier, the FODMAPs. Really happy that Fiber's having its day.
Good. Okay. And what is a trend that you hate?
I would say literally any of the trending diets that you see out there that tell you to cut out loads of food groups.
Okay.
You don't want to be cutting out anything that's saying like cut out this entire food group. I would steer clear of personally, because you're cutting out probably things that you need. Yeah.
Amazing.
And we see a lot of those.
Amazing. And then finally, and this is a purely selfish one, I know what your go-to breakfast is now. So what is your go-to dinner?
Oh, when we're short on time?
Well, I'm always short on time and effort and like the want to do it. So when you're probably like tired, can't be asked to do this, what do you cook?
I quite like, if I'm like having a lazy dinner and I don't want to do much or think about much, I kind of do like a good brunch.
Okay.
So I'll do some version of eggs, whatever I fancy doing. You can literally even boil them, some avocado, maybe a bit of sourdough, and then like I just throw whatever veggies I've got in that go with it on the plate. So maybe some tomatoes, some peppers, spinach, kale, whatever I've got in. But it's quite an easy one to just kind of throw together. You don't think about much, and it just feels a bit nicer than, I don't know, just a plain bowl of veggies and some salmon or something like that.
Amazing. I like that. Also, brunch is always good, right?
Yeah, so brunch at any time of the day. It doesn't have to be mid-morning. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, fab. Well, Annabel, thank you so much. So depending on when this episode is hitting you, we are also going to be doing a YouTube series together, which is very exciting. I basically need to grow up and learn how to take care of myself a little bit better. So I am recruiting all of the wonderful professionals within my realm to help me do that. And hopefully producing a bit of content that is going to inspire you at home, if you're the same as me, to do the same. Annabel, thank you so much. It's really refreshing to chat to someone about a topic that nutrition for me personally is one of these things where I kind of feel like a teenager about it. I'm like, I know. And I don't really I don't have my listening ears on. I don't really want to know, because I don't really want to do anything about it, because it's overwhelming. It's not something I'm drawn to or interested in, but I know it's super important. And I feel like that's a difficult place to be in. Yeah. So this was great, because I'm literally not walking away from this conversation going, oh my gosh, I need to go home and throw things out of my kitchen, out of my cupboard. I am walking away with some super helpful tips. I'm actually quite eager to add things into my plate, which is great. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It was so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of The Simple Fix. My name is Kerryn. We were joined with the wonderful Annabel. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you.